I just don't know what to do. The first time I had to retire, it was forced, and this time the choice is in my lap, and it's a lot harder,
So, interesting. Ever since Edge had the match against Sheamus, and we saw how it ended, because if you were on your social media, you saw exclusive clips that WWE had shared after SmackDown went off the air. And Edge is saying, hey, look, I don't know what's next for me in my respective career. I don't know if I'm done. I don't know if this is the last time that you'll see me, Canada. Obviously, there's a lot that I have to think about. I'm going to have to sit down with the kids and the wife, and just rest, take some time to myself and think about it. But, hey, no matter the case, really appreciate you guys and everything. So, as you got some of the reports that's floating around out there, Edge, he did say in a recent interview that his WWE contract is going to be up in September. And he also noted that, most likely he's wrestled his last match in Toronto and everything. Well, Fightful Select, they've added on to that, since then. And there are many in AEW who think that it's a real possibility that Edge could be coming to the company at some point. And they're noting that he would likely be there under his real name, Adam Copeland, because remember, the name Edge, that is copyrighted by WWE, right? No brainer, right? So those close to him earlier this year noted that him going to AEW isn't as out there as you might expect, because he's close friends with FTR and Christian, who all were pretty instrumental in helping him prepare for an in-ring return and everything, definitely in FTR and everything. So the idea has been discussed a lot by folks supposedly in AEW, even before Edge said his match with Sheamus would be his last on his contract and everything. As far as whether it actually will be his last match in WWE, on this contract, that's unknown. In recent months, WWE has been trying to do a better job, and mum is the word on contract extensions, re-signings, releases, expirations. And even if it just so happened, hypothetically speaking, if it just so happens that was Edge's last match, then it's possible that the contract, for all we know, maybe the contract has already quietly expired. It just has to wait until September to officially, or it could be a case where quietly the contract has already been extended. It's 50-50. It can honestly go either way, right? Good example is Goldberg. Look at his deal with the company, because that went far beyond the last time he had wrestled for them and everything. WWE sources did note that Edge has some time added to his deal due to injury. And if you guys remember, Tony Khan was actually interested in hiring Edge in 2019 before it was even known if he could wrestle. Edge contacted Vince McMahon, and the talks between he and McMahon, McMahon very, very ecstatic, wanting him to return to WWE and everything. And then, of course, the meeting with the doctors was set, got cleared. Everything else was history. So, I've got to look at this and approach this from the standpoint of where I was when it came to the talk of CM Punk in AEW. I remember when the rumblings had started, right then and there and everything. And I remember at that time, and I even talked about it publicly on the shows. I remember saying at that time, okay, well, you know what? CM Punk coming to AEW, you know what? I buy into that. Honestly, my mindset way back when was, CM Punk. And I'm sure that Kenny Omega, Cody, the Bucks, I'm sure they were very, very interested in him, day one and everything. But I'm sure CM Punk most likely was in a position where he basically said, okay, look, let me see, kind of like Scott Bakula, actor Scott Bakula from the original Quantum Leap series. You got the new cast, directors and crew. You know, they want for him to be a part of the new Quantum Leap series. And I would imagine Scott Bakula pretty much operating in the same fashion like CM Punk. Look, appreciate what you guys are doing. Appreciate the thought and everything. But, you know, I'm just going to say no for right now. But I will be watching. I want to see what you guys do and everything. You know, keep me in the loop and everything. You know, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not shutting the door on it forever, but just for the time being, you know, especially since I'm, you know, a little bit preoccupied with these other projects, I'm just going to say no for right now. But I'm not shutting the door on you guys. Keep up the good work. Stay in contact. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. And we saw how eventually that all had played out. So in regards to CM Punk, I had always felt that, you know what, it's just a matter of time. You know, if Punk does make that return, I always felt, yeah, he's going to do it for AEW. I didn't feel that he was going to, and I went on record for that. I didn't say, you know, yeah, he'll pop up in Impact. No. So that played out the way I thought it was going to play out. When it came to the talk of Sting possibly coming to AEW, that's an interesting one. And I'll tell you the reason why. When I looked at Sting, I honestly felt, well, damn, to go from WWE and to go back to Impact Wrestling, that is such a man, that's a 180. That is such a 180. Do you really want to go back, you know, after you saw the way WWE was able to handle your character, at least from a merchandising standpoint, maybe not so much from a booking standpoint, but from a merchandising commercial standpoint, WWE, you know, whether you like it or not, you got to admit they did right by him marketing commercial wise. Okay. So, man, this stage of the game, Sting going back to Impact, Sting, NWA, like, nah, man, that's an insult. So for me, AEW, I talked about it way back when. I was like, AEW, okay, sure. But my concern back then was, man, what are you going to have this guy do? Because of the injury that he has sustained and everything by that Seth Rollins buckle bomb. You know, he's going to need some type of surgery at some point. Woo! What's this guy supposed to do in AEW? Is he supposed to wrestle? And this guy could be a bad move away from being in a wheelchair like Christopher Reeve. Come on now. And, you know, once we saw Sting in there, you know, and I got to admit to you guys, I still cringe over certain spots that I see Sting do, because my whole thing is, dude, just, man, please be smart, please. What was it? Wasn't it a pay-per-view where Sting had went through a table or something like that? Some crazy spot involving Sammy Guevara, and Sting just no-selling it like a mofo when he went through it or whatever. And you see these instances where you're hoping that Sting is all right and everything. And yeah, at the age that he is, what is he now? 64, 63, 64, 65. So, you know, in regards to Sting, but I'll give the devil its due. It's operated, you know, on a decent level so far as Sting and AEW goes and all that. Okay. So I look at that. I see what's been happening with Bryan Danielson. I look at Saraya. I see all these people that Tony Khan has been able to acquire. I'm at a point right now where I know a lot of people are going Edge, AEW, you know, and they're automatically shooting that bad boy down. I hear you. I hear you guys. I do. I'm at a point right now, though, when it comes to this crazy world that's known as professional wrestling, I just go, you know what? Anything can and will happen. And the fact that Christian is over there, the fact that FTR is over there, make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. If Edge were to go to AEW, and it's funny that I'm mentioning this because I remember over the weekend, I don't know why it clicked in my head. It probably did because I was watching the AEW, I think it was one of the main events. It was Christian. I'm trying to remember who he was taking on, but it's sadly not coming to me right now. Maybe he was taking on Darby Allin. I want to say he was taking on Darby Allin. I'm almost confident he was taking on Darby Allin. And I just remember asking in the Discord server, hey, what do you think about the possibility of Edge and Christian wrestling? Could you maybe see something happening where WWE is able to work out some type of a deal where they could get Christian on loan so that the two of them could have a match in WWE, and that could essentially be Edge's farewell? You know, that can be his proper, because you're just kind of picturing in your head the way Edge probably really wants to go out is with his good friend Christian. Whether fighting him, you know, standing across from him, going one-on-one, or they're involved in some type of a tag match. And everybody has shot that down. They were like, no. As far as Christian doing something for WWE, like basically Tony Khan loaning him out, everybody that read my thought, they shot that down. And he's like, no. He's like, it's not happening. And granted so, because there's been times where in the past, Tony Khan was very, very warm to WWE, wanting to, and him feeling that it wasn't reciprocal. It's just, you know, okay, no, you know what? Forget this. Screw you. Right. So I get where he's, you know, and if he has right to feel that way, we may not like it, you know, but we got to respect, hey, at the end of the day, if that's how he feels and all that, then it is what it is. So we know that most likely a Edge Christian reunion in WWE is not going to happen. But would Christian still be able to get that moment with Edge, that nice proper send off, if it was a case where Edge came to AEW? You know, if I were to just, I could maybe see Edge with AEW for 1 year. 1 year. 2 years is really, really, really pushing it. But I could see Edge in AEW for 1 year, and then that's it. That's enough time for not only an Edge and Christian reunion, that is enough time to do Edge and Christian versus the Bucks versus FTR versus Lucha Brothers. Did I mention Young Bucks already? Hopefully I did. I believe I mentioned Hardys, right? Get those guys in there. The Acclaim, Private Party. I mean, that's enough time to really go in there, do all of those things. Edge versus Christian, Edge versus CM Punk. I think that would be freaking phenomenal. Just thinking about who else that you got there on the roster that would essentially be pretty good. I actually would like to see Edge and MJF. I think that would be a very interesting back and forth, just a bantering between those guys. I think that would be very, very cool. Edge and Miro. Go back to that, Edge and Miro. I think that'd be pretty good. Hell, Edge and Powerhouse Hobbs. I think that would actually be a damn good sleeper hit of a program right there. There's a lot that you could do. And you could definitely accomplish all that in a year. If he were to go to AEW, I could definitely see a year. 2 years is really, really pushing it. But if you want me to go on record and say, you know, what do I think as far as Edge to AEW? You know, I can't say, yes, it's going to happen. I won't say, yes, it's going to happen. It's just that with everything that I've seen in this crazy industry that is professional wrestling, I've gotten to that point over the years where I've conditioned myself to go expect the unexpected. And that's the best piece of advice that I could give any wrestling fan out there is, you know what, if you have that optimism and you think that it's very well possible that it could happen, you know, then wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens with that. So, you know, I'm very curious to see too what's going to happen with Goldberg. We continue to hear these rumblings with Bill Goldberg and everything. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I just can't believe it.
We certainly appreciate the support.